working on a project, you have to juggle several things in your mind at the same time, remembering the client's name, calculating project costs, and tracking upcoming deadlines, for example. Python uses a tool called variables to keep complex information organized. When you have completed this video, you will be able to define variables and explain variable creation, assignment, and reassignment. Variables are labeled storage containers within your code that allow you to assign meaningful names to data. They're like virtual sticky notes on your computer screen, holding important information that you can access and modify throughout your program, reminding you of important information and helping you organize your thoughts. Variables offer a number of benefits that help you streamline development and enhance your code quality. These include readability, reusability, and flexibility. Let's take a quick look at each one of these. Let's start with readability. Variables introduce clarity by replacing cryptic values like raw numbers in a financial report with descriptive names. For instance, total_revenue is far more informative than a random cell reference like B25 in a spreadsheet. This simple act of labeling data dramatically improves code readability, making it easier for you and your colleagues to understand the purpose and flow of your program. In terms of reusability, once you store a value in a variable, you can reference and reuse it multiple times throughout your code. This not only saves you from typing the same value over and over, but it also makes your code more maintainable. For example, if you're calculating employee salaries, instead of hard-coding each person's hourly rate every time you need it, you store it in a variable and reference that variable throughout your calculations. That way, if the hourly rate changes, you only need to update it in one place, saving you time and effort. Variables are also flexible, meaning they let you adapt your code to different scenarios. User input, calculation results, and external factors can all change dynamically, and variables enable your code to flow with these changes. For example, a weather app might store the current temperature in a variable. As the temperature updates, the variable's value changes, making sure the app always displays the most accurate information. Now that you know what variables can do for you and your code, let's talk about how to create variables and assign values to them in Python. Creating a variable is as simple as giving it a name and assigning a value to it using the equals sign in your code. For example, if you have an employee named Alice, you could create a variable by typing employee_name, the equals sign, and then assign its value as quotation marks Alice, end quotation marks. When you assign the variable, the value is stored in the variable memory so that it's accessible for later use. And since real-world situations evolve, the data in your program needs to as well. Variables allow you to reassign new values to them as needed, allowing your code to adapt and respond to changing circumstances. An example of this would be tracking a user's score in a game. As they earn points, you can update the score variable to reflect their progress. Clear and descriptive variable names are also important for effective collaboration. By using meaningful names and adding comments to explain their purpose, you can use your variables to create a shared understanding within your team, promoting efficient communication and reducing misunderstandings. How do variables streamline tasks in real-world settings? I'm glad you asked. Here are a few examples. In e-commerce, variables can store essential information, like the customer's name, shipping address, selected products, and total cost, which can then be used to generate personalized order confirmations, shipping labels, and even tailored product recommendations. In data analysis, variables help organize and manipulate information about customer behavior, market trends, or scientific measurements, making it easier to calculate key metrics, identify trends, and visualize findings in meaningful ways. In sales and manufacturing, Python scripts can automate repetitive tasks, like generating reports or sending notifications. Variables can store dynamic data like the current date, system status, or user preferences, making your scripts more adaptable and reusable. And those are only a few examples. Using variables is a fundamental skill for any Python programmer. They enable you to manage data effectively, write cleaner and more maintainable code, and work more collaboratively with other members of programming and development teams. Make sure you take the time to practice using variables to explore the breadth and depth of their power in applications and coding. Finally, you're here to learn, so don't be afraid to experiment to test the limits of your Python experience. Remember, skill equals practice plus time.